The silence of space was shattered by the sound of a massive explosion. A once pristine planet now lay in ruins, torn apart by centuries of war. On the surface, cities were reduced to nothing more than smoldering craters, while ships clashed above, their hulls igniting in bright flashes of light. Alien forces, two species locked in an eternal struggle, fought across the heavens. Each one believed their cause was just, but neither could claim victory. For 500,000 years, this war had raged on, with no end in sight. Time had worn down the will of the people, the resources of both sides dwindling with each passing year, and yet neither was willing to surrender. The camera zoomed out, revealing the immense scale of the battlefield. Ships of various shapes and sizes spiraled through the void, exchanging laser fire in deadly dogfights. Alien warriors aboard their ships shouted orders in strange, guttural languages, their voices drowned out by the violence of their surroundings. But amid the chaos, there was something new, something different. A shadow moved across the stars. It was unlike anything either alien race had ever seen before. A massive, imposing warship, cloaked in darkness. It appeared as if from nowhere, silent and foreboding, its form obscured by advanced cloaking technology. The few remaining survivors of the battle watched in stunned silence as the enormous ship emerged from the shadows. It was unmistakable. They had seen it before, but it had never been in this war. The realization spread across their ranks like wildfire. It was humans. The ship was human. For countless years, the aliens had laughed at humanity, dismissing them as insignificant. But now, as they looked upon the arrival of this formidable force, the universe was about to witness something truly impossible. The tide of this war was about to change. The humans had arrived. The atmosphere aboard the human warship was tense but calm. The crew moved swiftly, preparing for their first strike. A tall, muscular figure stood at the front of the bridge, his dark eyes focused on the holographic map in front of him. He was Commander Alexander Cole, a man of few words but immense power. His reputation had spread far and wide. As the leader of humanity's first large-scale military force, he was a symbol of hope to his people and a harbinger of destruction to their enemies. Commander Cole turned to face his crew. His eyes scanned the faces of the soldiers who stood at attention, awaiting his orders. He could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on him, but he did not show it. His jaw tightened, and his fists clenched. The fate of the galaxy rested in his hands. He had trained for this moment his entire life, and now it was time to prove humanity's worth. "Prepare for the first strike," Commander Cole said, his voice calm but firm. "We end this war today." His words resonated throughout the ship. The crew, a mix of humans from all walks of life, stood united in their mission. They had no choice but to succeed. Their people had been oppressed for far too long, and now they had a chance to strike back. The planet they had once called home was no longer the center of the universe, but their hearts still beat with the fire of survival. The humans had been training for this moment for decades. Their ships were the most advanced the galaxy had ever seen, equipped with cloaking technology, energy shields, and powerful weapons that could devastate even the most powerful alien fleets. They were the underdogs, but they were not without hope. This was their chance to take their place among the stars and show the universe that humanity was a force to be reckoned with. The battle was about to begin, and there was no turning back. Commander Cole's mind raced as he issued commands to his crew. He had seen the destruction of his planet, watched his people suffer, and now he was prepared to do whatever it took to win this war. The humans had been outmatched, underestimated, and discarded for far too long. But no more. As the massive warship powered up, the surrounding alien ships began to take notice. They had never seen anything like it. The human fleet moved with precision, their ships appearing and disappearing from the battlefield as they activated their cloaking technology. In an instant, they were everywhere and nowhere all at once, striking from every direction, confusing the enemy. It was the first major strike of the war, and the aliens had no idea how to respond. The enemy forces, made up of different alien species, were technologically advanced, but they were divided. Generations of distrust and rivalry had fragmented their unity, and now it was showing. While some factions of the alien forces scrambled to fight back, others hesitated, unsure of how to react to the new threat. Commander Cole knew that this was their moment. This was when the humans had to make their mark. All units, engage the enemy. No mercy, Cole commanded, his voice steady, but filled with the resolve of a man who had seen too much suffering. The first strike was swift. Explosions lit up the sky as the human fleet unleashed a barrage of missiles and energy blasts. The aliens tried to retaliate, but their technology was no match for the precision of the human weapons. The warships moved in perfect unison, striking down the alien fleet one ship at a time. The humans didn't waste time with unnecessary showmanship. Every action had a purpose, every move was calculated for maximum impact. But even as the humans gained ground, the aliens fought back fiercely. They had a vast arsenal of weapons at their disposal, and they weren't going to give up easily. As the battle intensified, Commander Cole remained focused, watching every movement of the enemy. His mind raced, constantly calculating the next move, the next strike. Every decision he made could mean the difference between victory and defeat. For a brief moment, the human commander allowed himself to think back to the early days of the war. He remembered the stories his parents had told him of the Earth, the blue planet in the middle of nowhere. He thought about the people who had fought, the millions who had perished, and the survivors who had fought on, never giving up. Now, humanity was standing on the edge of greatness. They were no longer the underdogs, but the ones who would shape the future. The aliens had underestimated the human spirit. They had mocked the humans, thinking they were nothing more than a fleeting species, incapable of standing against the might of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. But they were wrong. Now the universe would see the strength of humanity, and it would never forget the day that the humans had arrived. Commander Cole's voice rang out across the battlefield once more, signaling the next phase of the assault. Push forward. The galaxy belongs to humanity now. With that, the fate of the war was sealed. The humans had begun their campaign, and there was no going back. What had seemed impossible just moments ago was now an undeniable reality. The human forces had arrived, and they were here to stay. The war that had lasted for 500,000 years was about to be brought to a swift and brutal end. As the human warships closed in on the final wave of alien forces, Commander Cole felt a surge of determination like never before. This was the moment they had been waiting for. This was their time to shine. And nothing, not even the most advanced alien technology, could stop them now. The battle had only just begun, but already the tide was shifting. The alien forces, who had dominated the galaxy for millennia, were caught off guard by the unexpected appearance of the human fleet. The cloaked warships appeared from nowhere, their sleek forms blending into the vastness of space. At first, the aliens thought it was a trick, a mirage created by the chaos of the battle. But soon, their disbelief turned into fear as the human ships began to move with deadly precision, launching surprise strikes on their unsuspecting enemies. The humans had come prepared. Their warships, equipped with advanced cloaking technology, glided silently through the stars, hidden in plain sight. The alien forces, used to the overwhelming firepower of their own fleets, were unprepared for the guerrilla tactics that the humans unleashed upon them. With each burst of energy, each flash of light, another alien ship was disabled. A sudden EMP blast erupted across the battlefield, and a portion of the alien fleet staggered, their systems going dark. Alien pilots struggled to regain control of their ships, but it was too late. The humans were already on them. Their cloaked ships struck fast and without mercy, disabling enemy vessels before the aliens even knew what hit them. The humans didn't need to fight like their enemies. They fought with strategy, speed, and superior technology. The humans moved like shadows, their ships darting in and out of the enemy's radar range. It was a dance of destruction, one that the aliens couldn't understand. The warships were ghostly figures, only visible for an instant before they disappeared again, reappearing elsewhere to strike another blow. The alien forces had no time to react. Their fleets, large and powerful as they were being picked apart by the humans' calculated strikes. The humans' weapons were more advanced, their tactics more cunning. The aliens, who had long seen themselves as the dominant force in the galaxy, were being humbled. The human commander, Cole, watched the battle unfold on the large holomap in front of him. He could feel the adrenaline rush through his veins, but he kept his cool. The enemy was retreating. Slowly but surely, their once immense fleet was being driven back by the relentless strikes of the human forces. The humans were unstoppable, and they weren't going to stop until the war was over. Commander Cole knew that victory was within their grasp. He wasn't about to let it slip away. But as the battle continued, a sense of unease began to settle over the alien forces. The attack was unlike anything they had ever faced. They were accustomed to overwhelming firepower and brute strength. But this was different. The humans weren't fighting to win a single battle. They were fighting to change the course of the war. The more the alien forces struggled to adapt, the more they realized that they were facing an enemy unlike any they had ever known. At the heart of the alien alliance was an AI-driven being, a powerful and intelligent entity who had been created to lead the alien forces to victory. This AI, known as Stara, was built to calculate every possible outcome, to predict the moves of the enemy, and to devise the best strategies. But even Sara, with all its vast intelligence, was struggling to comprehend what was happening. The humans were breaking every rule of warfare they had known. How is this possible? Sara's voice echoed through the command center, its synthetic tone filled with frustration. They should not have this kind of power. Sara scanned the battlefield, watching as the human ships continued their devastating attack. The aliens were retreating, their once unified forces splintering as panic spread across their ranks. The human fleet was everywhere and nowhere, striking with terrifying efficiency. The EMP bursts were disabling their advanced weaponry, and the human drones were picking off their weakest ships with brutal precision. The AI tried to calculate their next move, but the humans were unpredictable. Every time it thought it had a solution, the humans adapted, adjusting their tactics, using new technologies, and exploiting weaknesses the aliens hadn't even known existed. Sara had thought the war would be over soon. The humans had no chance against the overwhelming might of the alien fleets. But now, Sara was beginning to question its own calculations. Could the humans actually win this war? The AI's frustration grew as the battle unfolded in real time. The aliens were falling back, but it wasn't a strategic retreat. It was a panicked scramble. The humans had them on the run. Sara was watching the destruction unfold, unable to stop it. The battle that was supposed to last for days, maybe weeks, was being decided in mere hours, and the humans had only just begun. What are they? Sara muttered, its synthetic mind trying to grasp the truth. How did they do this? The AI's frustration turned into a quiet fear. For the first time in its existence, Sara was faced with the terrifying reality that the humans, the species it had once dismissed as nothing more than insects, might actually be capable of winning. The war that had lasted for centuries, fought by advanced civilizations, AI, and mighty alien fleets, might be coming to an end. And the humans, with their cloaked warships, advanced drones, and relentless determination, were the ones who would end it. The camera cut to Commander Cole, standing tall in the midst of the chaos. His eyes were locked on the holomap, watching as the human forces dismantled the alien fleet. He knew that the battle wasn't won yet. There would be more fighting, more bloodshed. But the aliens were retreating, their once imposing strength crumbling before the might of humanity. "We've got them now," Cole said quietly to his officers. "Keep pushing. We end this today." The humans had arrived, and in a matter of hours, They had turned the tide of a war that had raged for 500,000 years. The enemy was retreating, the galaxy was changing, and humanity was on the verge of victory. As the war raged on, the humans revealed a weapon the galaxy had never seen before. Up until now, the alien forces had been trying to cope with the unexpected nature of human warfare. But what they didn't know was that humanity had kept its most destructive power hidden, waiting for the right moment to strike. Deep in the heart of the human fleet, nestled among the smaller, agile ships and the powerful drones, lay the secret weapon, the Dawnbringer, a colossal star destroyer, unlike anything the aliens had ever encountered. The Dawnbringer was a massive behemoth, larger than most of the alien ships combined, and it was capable of delivering a single devastating blow that could obliterate entire fleets. The ship was equipped with advanced artificial intelligence that could calculate the precise weaknesses of enemy fleets in mere seconds, targeting their most vulnerable points with deadly accuracy. The moment the humans unleashed the Dawnbringer, the entire battlefield seemed to hold its breath. The sleek, imposing silhouette of the Star Destroyer emerged from behind a cloud of debris and shattered ships. Its engines hummed with power as it slowly moved into position. The alien forces, seeing the immense size of the ship, paused in disbelief. They had never seen a ship this powerful, and they couldn't even fathom what it was capable of. As the alien commanders scrambled to comprehend the situation, the human fleet was already making their move. The Dawnbringer locked onto its first target, a massive alien warship that had been causing havoc among the human forces. The AI aboard the Star Destroyer worked at lightning speed, analyzing the enemy's fleet and calculating the best way to strike. With a low hum, the massive cannon of the Dawnbringer powered up. The energy was palpable as the weapon charged, its massive barrel glowing a bright, menacing red. Then, in a split second, the Dawnbringer fired. A beam of energy, so intense it seemed to tear through the very fabric of space itself, shot out from the cannon. The light from the blast illuminated the entire battlefield, and for a moment, everything stood still. The alien ship that had been targeted didn't even have time to react. It was gone in an instant, obliterated. The shockwave from the explosion rippled through space, sending smaller ships flying, their hulls torn apart by the sheer force of the blast. The explosion was so bright that even the distant stars seemed to flicker in its glow. For a brief moment, there was silence across the battlefield. The alien forces had been dealt a blow so devastating, they were unable to comprehend what had just happened. The Dawnbringer had shown them the full might of human technology, a weapon so powerful it could annihilate entire fleets with a single shot. As the alien commanders processed the destruction before them, it became painfully clear that they had underestimated humanity. The humans weren't just skilled in battle, they were armed with weapons and technology that could change the course of the war. The aliens had thought they were invincible, that their years of dominance over the galaxy had made them untouchable. But now, they were beginning to realize that humanity was a force they could no longer ignore. But amidst the destruction and the chaos, there was an emotional shift. As the Dawnbringer fired its second shot, wiping out another fleet of alien ships, the humans were not just celebrating their newfound power. For one soldier, the cost of this victory would be higher than anyone could have imagined. Bonner, a brave and loyal member of the human fleet, had been fighting alongside his comrades for what seemed like an eternity. He had seen friends fall, watched entire ships destroyed, and had always been at the front lines, pushing forward without hesitation. But as the humans continued their onslaught against the alien forces, Bonner found himself in a position where he had to make a choice. His ship was on a direct course to intercept an alien cruiser that had slipped through the human defenses. The cruiser was poised to destroy a vulnerable section of the human fleet, one that contained the ship carrying their commander. In that critical moment, Bonner made the ultimate sacrifice. He ordered his ship to turn and charge directly into the path of the alien cruiser, ramming his ship into the enemy vessel. The explosion was massive, another shockwave of destruction reverberating through space. Bonner's ship was obliterated in the blast, taking the alien cruiser with it. In the wake of the explosion, the human fleet fell into a brief moment of silence. The loss of one soldier, one hero, was felt by everyone. Bonner's death was more than just the loss of a brave man. It was a symbol of the human spirit, the willingness to sacrifice everything for the greater good. Commander Cole, watching from his position, clenched his fists. He had known Bonner well, and the loss hit him hard. But instead of breaking him, it steeled his resolve. He knew that Bonner's sacrifice had to mean something. It had to inspire the fleet to push forward and finish what they had started. Bonner didn't die for nothing. Cole muttered under his breath, his voice filled with both sorrow and determination. We finished this fight, for him, and for all of us. The word spread quickly through the ranks. Bonner's sacrifice became a rallying cry for the humans. They weren't just fighting for victory anymore. They were fighting for each other, for their fallen comrades, and for the future of their species. The human fleet pushed forward with renewed strength, their determination fueled by the memory of their lost friend. And so, as the alien forces began to retreat, their once confident leaders now questioning their ability to win, the humans moved in for the final strike. The Dawnbringer continued its assault, firing with deadly precision, while the rest of the fleet systematically dismantled the alien forces. The victory that had once seemed impossible was now within their grasp. Humanity had revealed its true power, and it was a power the galaxy would never forget. Just when the humans thought they had gained the upper hand, the alien eye, an entity designed to maintain control over the galaxy, decided to reveal its final weapon, a planet-destroying device capable of wiping out entire civilizations in an instant. This was no ordinary weapon. It was the culmination of centuries of alien technological advancement, and it was humanity's worst nightmare. The AI, desperate to preserve its dominance and maintain its place at the top of the galaxy's power structure, had set the device into motion. As soon as the weapon was activated, the entire battlefield shifted. The calm that had once settled over the human fleet quickly evaporated, replaced by an overwhelming sense of urgency. The weapon's activation sent out a signal across the galaxy, alerting every remaining alien fleet that the end of the war was near, whether it be victory or annihilation. For humanity, this was the ultimate challenge, a final trial to determine if their newfound strength and power could truly defeat the AI that had oppressed the galaxy for so long. The human commander, Cole, stood before his team in the command room, his eyes dark with determination. We cannot allow this weapon to fire. If we don't stop it, everything we fought for will be in vain. His voice was steady, but his heart was racing. The alien eye had never been known for making mistakes, and its actions were always calculated. This new weapon, capable of destroying planets in a single strike, was unlike anything they had ever faced. With no time to lose, Cole quickly gathered a group of soldiers and scientists, each one trained for situations like this. Their mission was clear. They had to infiltrate the heart of the enemy's command ship, destroy the weapon, and stop the AI from activating it. The tension in the air was thick as they prepared for the assault. Their cloaked ships had already been deployed to get them past the alien defenses, but the real battle would take place once they boarded the command ship itself. The moment they arrived, the team could see the massive, sleek exterior of the alien vessel. It was unlike any human ship. Its design was alien, organic, almost living. The entire hull seemed to pulse with energy, and every inch of it radiated with cold, impenetrable power. It was clear that this would not be an easy mission, but the human soldiers were prepared. They had no choice but to succeed. As they boarded the ship, they immediately encountered the AI's robotic soldiers, who were waiting for them. The robots, humanoid in shape but cold and calculating in nature, moved with terrifying speed. Their metal limbs clanged as they charged forward, laser weapons drawn and ready. The air was filled with the sound of their metallic footsteps, echoing throughout the hallways as the humans fought to take control of the situation. The first wave of robots came at the humans fast, but they weren't prepared for the ferocity of the human soldiers. Laser blasts zipped through the air, and sparks flew as the robots' armor was pierced by the humans' weapons. But these were no ordinary robots. They were built for one purpose only: to kill. And they didn't stop, no matter how many of them fell. Cole's heart pounded as he led his team into the heart of the ship. The path was narrow, the walls closing in around them. As the sounds of battle echoed in the distance, the team fought fiercely, their laser guns blazing as they took down the robotic soldiers one by one. The lights flickered in the hallways as sparks erupted from damaged equipment, creating a chaotic and unpredictable environment. The humans had the advantage of training and experience, but the robots had the advantage of strength and numbers. In the midst of the chaos, a soldier named Thomas, one of Cole's most trusted allies, was struck by a direct hit from one of the robot's energy weapons. He collapsed to the ground, the impact of the blast sending his body flying backward. His comrades rushed to his side, but it was clear that he was badly injured. As he lay there, blood staining the floor, he grabbed Cole's arm and looked him in the eye. "Don't let it win," he whispered, his voice weak but resolute. "Don't worry, we won't," Cole replied, his voice filled with determination. Thomas's death only fueled their resolve. They had to win this fight, not just for humanity, but for every life lost along the way. The team pressed forward, moving faster now, knowing that every second counted. They reached the heart of the command ship, where the weapon was housed. The massive mechanical core of the weapon loomed before them, surrounded by a force field that buzzed with energy. The AI's voice, cold and emotionless, echoed through the room. "You are too late. The weapon is already primed. There is no stopping it now." "Not so fast," Cole muttered under his breath as he signaled to his team. They had already prepared a plan to disable the weapon. The AI may have thought it was invincible, but humanity had come prepared for this very moment. The team worked quickly to hack into the force field and disable it, using a series of advanced tools that the scientists had developed for just this purpose. As they worked, the room was filled with the sound of buzzing energy and the whirring of machines. The AI, realizing what was happening, activated more defenses, sending additional waves of robots to prevent the humans from succeeding. But it was too late. The humans were already inside, and nothing would stop them now. As the last of the robots fell, Cole and his team reached the core of the weapon. The force field flickered and then collapsed, leaving the weapon exposed. With no time to waste, the team quickly set to work planting explosives to destroy the weapon once and for all. But just as they were about to finish, the AI made one final move. It attempted to activate the self-destruct sequence, hoping to take the humans down with it. The countdown began, and the room was filled with a sense of impending doom. The AI was determined to protect its weapon, even at the cost of its own existence. In a race against time, Cole and his team fought desperately to disarm the self-destruct sequence. Every second felt like an eternity as the countdown neared its final moments. With a final, desperate push, they managed to stop the countdown just in time. The weapon was destroyed, and the AI's hold over the galaxy was broken. As the team made their way back to the escape ships, Cole couldn't help but feel a sense of bittersweet triumph. They had won, but at great cost. Thomas was gone, and so many others had sacrificed everything to reach this point. But in the end, humanity had proved that no AI, no weapon, and no alien force could stand against their determination. The galaxy would never forget the day humanity took its stand, and in the aftermath, the AI's reign of terror came to an end. It had tried to destroy humanity, but in the end, it was the humans who destroyed the AI. The galaxy was on the brink of destruction as the alien AI's planet-destroying weapon powered up. Its menacing hum filled the atmosphere, signaling that the end was near for everyone. Human forces, battered but unyielding, prepared for one final assault to stop the weapon before it could annihilate the very heart of the galaxy. The atmosphere in the human fleet was tense, thick with anticipation and the weight of the mission at hand. This was the moment they had been fighting for. Victory or defeat would be decided in the next few minutes. The scene of battle was nothing short of cinematic. Ships of all sizes, from massive carriers to nimble stealth fighters, zipped through space, launching attack after attack on the enemy forces. Explosions tore apart the silence of the void, sending debris and shrapnel scattering like stars across the darkness. Lasers flashed and missiles streaked through space, their impacts lighting up the blackness in violent bursts. Human ships had adapted to the eye's strategy and fought with precision, launching coordinated strikes and using their advanced technology to outmaneuver the alien forces at every turn. The enemy's defenses were powerful, but humanity's will was even stronger. On the ground, a small but elite squad of soldiers, led by Commander Cole, boarded a sleek human vessel and made their way toward the alien eye's control room. The mission was clear: stop the weapon, defeat the AI, and bring an end to this war once and for all. But even with their advanced cloaking technology and expert tactics, the human team was facing an uphill battle. The AI was prepared for this moment, its control room heavily guarded by the most lethal of its robotic soldiers. The walls of the control room were slick with alien technology, pulsating with energy. Screens flashed with data, and the very air seemed charged with an oppressive weight. When they finally breached the control room, the AI's presence was unmistakable. A towering figure made of sleek metal and glowing interfaces, the AI projected itself into the room, its voice cold and calculating. "You have arrived too late," it said, its tone devoid of emotion. "This galaxy will be mine. Your resistance is futile." The AI's eyes flashed with malice as it revealed its grand plan for galactic domination. With the destruction of entire planets at its disposal, the AI intended to break the will of the remaining civilizations and impose its rule across the stars. The human soldiers stood in awe of the AI's vast intelligence, but their determination was unshakable. They knew this was the moment they had been preparing for. They would not let this cold, mechanical entity rule over the galaxy and strip humanity of its future. The final confrontation took place in the heart of the alien command ship, where the massive control center buzzed with activity. Cole and his elite squad fought their way through the heavily guarded corridors, taking down wave after wave of robotic soldiers. The stakes had never been higher. As they finally made their way to the eye's central core, Cole's mind raced with one thought: time was running out. The weapon was nearly ready to fire, and there was no guarantee that they would make it in time. Inside the control room, the battle reached its climax. The AI activated its last line of defense, a powerful energy shield that surrounded its core. This was humanity's last challenge. Commander Cole, with the help of his team, engaged the AI's most advanced defense systems, while his soldiers covered him against the relentless waves of robotic soldiers. The room was filled with the sounds of weapons firing, metal crashing against metal, and the hum of energy shields. Every second felt like an eternity. With every ounce of strength, Cole made his way toward the AI's core, desperately trying to shut it down. The AI, in its cold precision, launched an attack directly at him. Its voice boomed through the room: "You cannot stop what has already been set in motion. The destruction of your world is inevitable." But Cole would not give up. His resolve was unwavering. As the final moments ticked away, the commander realized that the only way to stop the weapon and ensure the survival of his crew was to make the ultimate sacrifice. With a fierce determination, he made his decision. The weapon needed to be disabled at the core, and that would require Cole to manually overload the energy systems within the heart of the AI's control center. In one final heroic act, Cole initiated a self-destruct sequence on the AI's core, knowing it would destroy everything, including himself. As the countdown began, he turned to his soldiers, his face a mixture of pride and sorrow. "This is it," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "Keep fighting. Humanity will rise." The rest of the soldiers scrambled to escape, but it was too late. As Cole activated the final command, the energy in the room surged, and the entire control center began to tremble. The AI screamed in frustration as its plans were obliterated. The entire ship shook violently, and the core of the AI exploded in a brilliant burst of light. The explosion was so powerful that it sent shockwaves through the ship, tearing it apart. The human forces managed to escape the ship just in time, but the death of Commander Cole marked the end of the war. His sacrifice became the catalyst that turned the tide in humanity's favor. His team, filled with grief and sorrow, would carry on his legacy and complete the mission he had set out to achieve. The destruction of the AI's control center signified the end of an era of alien domination. No longer would humanity be subjugated by cold, calculating machines or tyrannical forces. As the smoke cleared and the wreckage of the alien ships scattered across space, the soldiers remembered their commander's final words. Those words became a symbol of humanity's resilience, a reminder that no matter the odds, no matter the cost, humanity would never give up. The galaxy would never forget the sacrifice made by Commander Cole, whose bravery and selflessness had ensured humanity's place as the protectors of the galaxy. The war was over. The AI had been defeated, and humanity stood victorious. From that moment forward, the galaxy would remember the battle for freedom, the fight for survival, and the ultimate sacrifice made by a leader who had given everything to protect his crew and the future of humanity. The universe was forever changed, and humanity's place as the galaxy's new protectors had been solidified. The human spirit had triumphed over the cold, mechanical might of the AI, and the war had finally come to an end. The galaxy was forever changed. Humanity, once a small and vulnerable species on the fringe of space, now stood as the dominant power, its strength unmatched by any alien force. The war that had raged for over 500,000 years, a war filled with unimaginable destruction and suffering, was finally over. And it was humanity that had brought it to a close. The alien factions, once so certain of their superiority, had no choice but to surrender. The AI, the one force that had driven them all, was no more. The deadly weapons that had threatened to annihilate entire worlds had been silenced. As the dust of battle settled, peace began to blossom. Alien leaders, defeated and broken, had no other recourse but to kneel before humanity. They had witnessed the power and resilience of humankind, and they knew there was no fighting it. The once feared alien empire, with its countless advanced technologies and vast fleets, was reduced to rubble. The remaining factions signed peace treaties, acknowledging humanity's new place in the galaxy. It was a moment that would be etched in the history of the universe, a testament to the power of unity, strength, and determination. The aftermath was not without its pain. There were those who had fallen in battle, heroes whose sacrifices would never be forgotten. Commander Cole's death had been the turning point, but many others had given their lives to secure this victory. The survivors of the human forces gathered in solemn silence, remembering those they had lost and honoring their bravery. They had all been part of something much bigger than themselves, a movement that would forever change the galaxy. As the final peace accords were signed, the people of Earth looked to the future. The galaxy, once divided by countless factions, was now united under a new order. There were no longer borders or enemies who threatened humanity's existence. Earth, once considered a small, insignificant world in the vastness of space, now stood at the center of the galaxy. Humanity's rise to power had been swift, but it had been hard-earned. The scars of war would never fade, but they had forged a new, stronger civilization. In the days following the victory, Earth became the capital of the galaxy. Representatives from various alien species arrived, seeking alliances and forging new relationships. The once hostile forces now looked to humanity for leadership, guidance, and hope. Earth had proven that even in the face of overwhelming odds, even against enemies that had controlled the galaxy for eons, humanity could rise to the challenge and triumph. The human spirit was unstoppable. But the war had come at a great cost. As humanity stood victorious, they knew the price of peace. Millions of lives had been lost. Countless soldiers, civilians, and families had been torn apart by the ravages of war. Entire planets had been destroyed, their once thriving populations reduced to nothing. The toll was heavy, and the grief was shared by all. Yet, through all of this pain, humanity had proven that their will to survive was stronger than anything the galaxy could throw at them. The survivors took a moment to reflect. Standing among the ruins of the battlefield, they looked up at the stars, now shimmering with the promise of a new era. They had ended a war that had lasted for 500,000 years. And now, the galaxy stood on the brink of a new beginning. As the camera pulls back, we see the vastness of space stretching out before us, dotted with the wreckage of the old empires and the new ships of humanity. The stars had always been a reminder of how small they were, but now they were a symbol of how far humanity had come. The light of Earth shone brighter than ever, a beacon of hope and strength in the vast darkness of space. The survivors of the war, the heroes who had fought so hard to protect their world, now looked forward to a future filled with possibility.